The Lucky Star hadn't even cooled from atmospheric re-entry before our troubles found us. Veltraxis was gone, collapsed into molten ruin. The origin node now sat dormant on the NAV console, cold and silent like a sleeping god. But it had marked us. And the galaxy had noticed. Marcus paced the cockpit, glancing at long-range scans. We've got 3 hegemony signatures on intercept vectors. Frigates. Fast ones. Kira looked up from the weapons terminal. That was quick. I felt the weight of the node in my chest more than in my hands. They were probably tracking Veltraxis. Once it flared, they locked in on us. Marcus grimaced. Great. So the second we unlock something that could reshape galactic evolution, every power in the quadrant suddenly wants to dissect us. We did just awaken a precursor artifact, I noted. Details. Kira stood, arms crossed. So what's the plan? We can't outrun them forever. Then we don't, Marcus replied. We outsmart them. He pulled up a holomap, zooming into the spiral arms beyond Terran space. A narrow corridor between 2 volatile systems, Makarov Drift and the Edge Spiral. Kira raised an eyebrow. That's dead zone territory. Gravity storms, dark matter clouds. And no hegemony patrols, Marcus finished. I frowned. It's called the Grave Corridor for a reason. Even advanced navigation systems lose signal in there. Perfect place to hide, Marcus said. Or die horribly. Those options seem evenly weighted, I muttered. We plotted a risky microjump just outside the hegemony sensor net, timing it between bursts of solar interference from a nearby red dwarf. The idea was to disappear in the static, like slipping behind a curtain during a light show. It worked. For 5 minutes. Then the comms lit up. Unregistered vessel Lucky Star. This is Hegemony Patrol Frigate Lancer. You are in possession of restricted Class Zeta technology. Power down engines and prepare to be boarded. Marcus rolled his eyes. I hate how polite they are when they're about to shoot you. Let me try, I said. I opened a channel and transmitted in formal galactic standard. Hegemony vessel, this is Dr. Vex Noblax of the Quintteran Science Academy. The artifact aboard our ship predates all current sovereign claims. You have no authority to seize it. The reply was cold. Authority is irrelevant. The hegemony preserves stability. Your actions threaten that. We jumped. Not to the drift. Not yet. Instead, Marcus punched us into a nearby debris field, the remains of a shattered moon orbiting a gas giant. Metal fragments, shattered rock, and the hulls of long-dead ships drifted in silence. I've always wanted to die in a scrapyard, Marcus muttered. Optimism is clearly your species' most dangerous trait, I said. Kira pointed. There. Old mining hauler. Looks hollow. We dove into the wreck, cutting thrusters at the last second. The Lucky Star coasted silently into the cavernous cargo hold of the derelict ship, scraping bulkheads but holding steady. And then, we waited. Outside, 3 hegemony frigates combed the field. I suppressed my bioluminescence. Kira shut down every non-essential system. Marcus stared through the viewport, not blinking. And then, something strange happened. The node began to glow. Faint but steady. Like it was sensing danger, or reacting to our fear. I placed a hand on it. It was warm. I wasn't sure if that comforted or terrified me more. Minutes passed. Hours maybe. Finally the patrol ships left. One by one. Disappearing in the dark. We exhaled. Marcus grinned. That went better than expected. No thanks to you, Kira muttered. Your idea nearly got us space. Yeah, but nearly. We exited the hauler and began the real journey, to the Grave Corridor. To disappear. To buy time. Time to understand what the node was becoming. As the stars shifted outside the cockpit, I whispered quietly. We're not just fugitives anymore. We're history in motion. Marcus looked over. No pressure document. And we juped again into the dark. Next, Chapter 15, The Grave Corridor. Would you like to continue with Chapter 15 now? That's where they encounter the mysterious anomaly, and the node starts changing. If the galaxy had a spine, the Grave Corridor was the place it snapped. An ancient rift between stars, carved by collapsed systems and failed terraforming attempts, it stretched like a wound across the edge of known space. It was dark, too dark. Not the peaceful darkness of interstellar space, but a churning, unnatural void where light refused to linger. The Lucky Star emerged from subspace like a swimmer surfacing in a storm. Static crackled through the hull. The NAV system blinked red. We've lost signal lock, Kira said, checking the panel. Artificial gravity is fluctuating. Welcome to the grave, Marcus muttered. Where up is optional and death is always trending. The stars outside twisted as gravitational tides warped space-time around us. Our ship groaned with every passing wave but held. For now. The origin node pulsed again. Not the sharp glow of warning or defense, but a deep, rhythmic hum. Like it was resonating with something in the corridor. I approached it carefully. Vex. Marcus said, eyeing it. What's it doing? Listening, I replied. I think it's hearing something we can't. Kira frowned. Like what? I didn't answer. Because I had no idea. We pressed deeper into the corridor, navigating slowly through fragments of broken ships, derelict probes, and the occasional flash of distorted starlight. It was like flying through memory. Everything here was old, dead, and waiting to be forgotten. Until it wasn't. Until we saw it. A station. No, a temple. Massive. Built into an asteroid the size of a small moon, half buried in frozen rock and swirling dust. Ancient. Quintteran architecture, no doubt, but far older than any record we had in our archives. My breath caught. This predates the collective. Marcus slowed the ship. Is it abandoned? Doesn't look abandoned, Kira said, tapping the scanner. It's powered, shielded, and broadcasting a signal. What kind of signal? Marcus asked. She paused. It's not targeting us. It's targeting the node. We debated whether to dock. Marcus was against it. Kira was skeptical. I was curious beyond reason. But the node made the decision for us. It detached from the cradle and hovered forward, gently but firmly embedding itself into the ship's guidance system. Marcus cursed. Well, that's new. It's leading us in, I said. Kira checked her weapon. Of course it is. The docking clamps of the ancient structure opened like the petals of a dead flower. Our ship slid inside, weightless, powerless, and was caught by some unseen gravity well. Everything went black. When the lights returned, we were inside. No alarms. No weapons. No guards. Just silence. And light. The interior was magnificent, high-vaulted ceilings lined with glowing glyphs, fluid architecture that shifted subtly as we moved. The floor pulsed faintly underfoot like walking on a living memory. At the center, a platform. And on it, a humanoid figure. Translucent. Ancient. Clearly not physical. A hologram? It spoke in a dozen languages at once. Some I recognized, others long dead. Then it focused on me. Child of the spiral, it said. You carry the echo of Genesis. The final node. I stepped forward. What are you? The figure inclined its head. We are the Archive. The last memory of the first architects. You have awakened the final seed. Marcus stepped up beside me. What does that mean? It means, the voice said, turning its glowing G. The chamber vibrated, softly at first like the low thrum of a distant pulse, but it grew louder, deeper, until it resonated in our bones. Dozens of origin nodes surrounded us, each suspended in gravitic fields. They pulsed with soft, harmonic light, glowing like stars arranged by intention, not coincidence. A constellation of dormant power. And in the center, the final node, our node, rose into the air, fully active now. Runes spun around it like orbiting atoms. The Archive's projection reappeared, its voice both machine and myth. The spiral stands at a turning point. You, the unlikeliest of vessels, have reactivated the last echo. The architects foresaw this moment. They encoded a singular truth in the seeds. Only one civilization may guide the rebirth. Kira's voice was hard. Guided how? Access to the Forge worlds. To terraforming protocols, galactic-scale energy generation, genetic ascension. Power enough to elevate a species, or destroy thousands. Marcus muttered, of course it's a prize. It's always a prize. A new hologram emerged, this time a council chamber suspended in space. Hundreds of species. Thousands of signals. Every major power in the galaxy. The Archive had opened the channel. I stared, recognizing banners. The Quintteran Collective, the Hegemony, the Union of Artificial Sentience, the Solari Enclave, even the reclusive Voidborn Choir. And among them all, rising in disbelief, was a lone Terran ambassador. He recognized Marcus immediately. Marcus Quinn? What the hell have you done? Marcus raised a hand casually. Won a card game. Started a religion. You know, Tuesday. The Archive continued. Each of you will plead your case. But the node has already chosen its initial conduit, humanity. A wave of fury swept through the link. Alien voices rose in protest, accusations, disbelief. The Terrans are reckless. They are young. They desecrate what they do not understand. Kira stepped forward. You forgot resourceful. I raised my voice above the din. Perhaps that's the point. The architects weren't selecting for purity or tradition. They were waiting for someone too unpredictable to be controlled. Silence fell. And then the archive spoke again. The process begins now. Each species may challenge humanity's claim. Through diplomacy or trial. Marcus blinked. Trial? The lights in the chamber flared. Mental, moral, physical, philosophical. The spiral must be tested through those who dare to hold it. I turned to Marcus slowly. You're saying we have to fight, debate, and outthink the galaxy's best? The archive simply answered. Yes. Moments later the chamber shifted. We were no longer alone. A tall, crystalline being floated into view, its limbs shimmering like fractal glass. I am Shax Val of the Mental Dominion. I challenged the Terran representative to a contest of pattern comprehension and logic synthesis. Marcus leaned toward me. I'm going to lose, aren't I? I gave him a sympathetic look. Almost certainly. Kira cracked her knuckles. Maybe I'll get the combat round. Thus began the judgment, a series of galactic trials to test if humanity, through this ragged crew of a smuggler, a scientist, and a soldier, was truly worthy to shape the next age. And the galaxy watched. Waiting. Some hopeful. Others vengeful. But all afraid that the architects had chosen right. The room that formed around Marcus was not built. It manifested. One moment we stood in the archive chamber, and the next, Marcus stood alone in a dome of shimmering data light. Patterns rippled across the curved walls. Equations that bent in on themselves, geometric impossibilities, symmetries that rewrote their own rules as you watched. Across from him floated Shax Val, the crystalline intelligence from the Mental Dominion. It hovered, silent, like a living kaleidoscope. This is the trial of comprehension, the archive declared. You will solve a sequence of cognitive constructs. Speed, adaptability, and intuition will be scored. Winner proceeds. Loser forfeits claim. Marcus looked over his shoulder as if hoping someone would yell, "Just kidding." No one did. Right, he muttered. Just me, a smug space chandelier, and math that hates me. The first construct dropped into the air between them, a puzzle sphere. Floating symbols rearranged themselves around it, glowing brighter as they aligned. Shax Val reacted instantly, tendrils of energy flicking out and solving the first configuration in 3 seconds flat. Marcus stepped up. The sphere rotated and projected a 4-dimensional logic maze. Symbols changed when looked at. Paths shifted based on observation. Oh no, he said. It's a quantum Sudoku from hell. He squinted. Thought. Then smirked. Marcus didn't solve it the right way. He cheated. He whistled a random melody. The tone caused 2 of the unstable symbols to shift into a harmonic sync. The puzzle stabilized. He shrugged. Music's math, right? The archive paused. Then pulsed. Correct. Unorthodox method. Point awarded. Shax Val spun, puzzled if a being of pure logic could feel such a thing. The second construct appeared, a memory fractal. Layers of events, false memories, and paradoxes. Identify the original sequence. Shax Val processed it in 10 seconds. Marcus. He just closed his eyes. And remembered. Not the puzzle but his life. His father's voice teaching him to fix a broken air scrubber on a freighter. The way a maintenance loop sounded wrong when a sensor was reversed. That intuition, that memory of wrongness, guided him. He opened his eyes. The 4th layer doesn't belong. It references tech that didn't exist until 2 iterations later. Correct. He smiled. Also, it smells like disappointment. Just like my high school math finals. By the 3rd round, Shax Val was pushing harder. More layers. Abstract models built on non-Euclidean spaces. It didn't matter. Marcus wasn't smarter. But he was human. He guessed. He intuited. He lied to the puzzle until it told him the truth. And when the final construct spun into the air, a logic cascade that required 11 simultaneous solutions, Marcus didn't even blink. He walked through it. Literally. The moment his body intersected the projections, the entire puzzle folded, reacted, and solved. What? Shax Val flared with fractal static. Marcus turned, walking backward, grinning. Sometimes the answer isn't to solve the system. It's to reject the premise. The archive pulsed again. Trial complete. Victory, Terran representative. Shax Val flickered, dimmed, and vanished in a prism of refracted light. Marcus returned to us, triumphant and slightly pale. Did I win? He asked. You broke an interstellar IQ test by walking through it, I said, stunned. Yes. You won. Kira clapped him on the back. Not bad for a guy who can't spell symmetry. 2 M's right, he winked. But even as we celebrated, the archive wasn't finished. New voices echoed in the chamber. Factions stepping forward. New challengers rising. The mental test was amusing. Now let us see if they can fight. Or endure pain. Or hold to morals when tested to their limits. The lights dimmed. The next trial approached. And this one would be physical. The combat chamber rose from the archive's depths like something summoned from a warrior's fever dream. Stone and steel twisted together in brutal harmony, half arena, half shrine. The floor was scorched with the marks of 1,000 battles. Alien glyphs crawled across the walls in shifting script, recording every warrior who'd ever bled in this place. Trial 2, Physical Prowess, the archive announced. Contestants will engage in ritual combat. No ranged weapons. No outside aid. Victory by surrender, incapacitation, or death. Marcus groaned. Of course it's a gladiator match. Why not a push-up contest or something? I turned to Kira. You don't have to do this. She was already strapping on her armor. Her face was calm. Focused. No, she said. I really do. Her opponent stepped forward. A Brull shock champion, bred in the gravity wells of the Forex crucibles. Nearly 3 meters tall. All boneplate armor, tusks, and 4 muscle-laced arms. It dragged a pair of bladed gauntlets that sparked against the floor. The crowd of delegates, projected from across the galaxy, collectively leaned forward. The Terran must face Glarnak the Unbroken, the archive said. Kira just cracked her neck. I'll call him Glarny. The archive's pulse dimmed to a countdown. Begin. The Brull lunged. Kira didn't move backward. She darted in. Her form was fluid, fast, human military mixed with zero-G grappling. She ducked under Glarnak's swipe, struck a nerve cluster in its side, then used her momentum to spin around and plant a shock glove against its spine. A jolt. A roar. The Brull spun and slammed her with a forearm. She flew 10 meters, rolled, and bounced to her feet like a spring. Okay, she muttered, blood in her mouth. You are unbroken. What followed wasn't a fight. It was a chess match played in bruises and instinct. Kira couldn't match Glarnak's strength, but she didn't need to. She was faster. Smarter. She used the terrain. Ledges, pillars, broken tiles. Every surface became a weapon. She faked weakness. Let Glarnak close. Then slammed her elbow into its secondary heart node. It howled in fury. I'm starting to think you don't like me, she said, dodging another swing. But even brilliance has limits. 20 minutes in, Kira was limping. Her left arm hung loose. Glarnak bled from 6 wounds, but didn't slow. He raised both fists and charged with the force of a shuttle thruster. Marcus shouted, Kira? She didn't run. She ran toward him. At the last second, she leapt, twisted, grabbed Glarnak's upper arms, and used his own momentum to hurl him off balance. They crashed into the stone floor together. Kira landed hard. But Glarnak didn't get up. Silence. The archive glowed with shifting light. Combat concluded. Victory, Terran representative. Kira rose slowly. Bleeding. Panting. But alive. Marcus ran to her, helping her up. You okay? She grinned. I'd hate to see the next guy. Back in the chamber, the voices were louder now. Angry. Afraid. They've won the mind, and the body. We underestimated them. This cannot be allowed to continue. But the archive pulsed with unflinching logic. The spiral demands balance. Next trial, moral paradox. I froze. Because this one was mine. I had debated warlords. Lectured planetary councils. Published 13 peer-reviewed papers on the ethics of cross-species neural interfaces. But I had never faced this. The archive's chamber shifted again, the arena and logic sphere dissolving into something stranger. A space that defied spatial consistency. Every step I took echoed in different directions, every angle bent subtly wrong. It wasn't a place. It was a mindscape. Trial 3, Moral Paradox, the archive said. The candidate will face a dilemma. Their response will define the ethical foundation of their species' claim. There are no correct answers. Only consequences. I floated forward as a scene materialized around me, familiar, impossibly familiar. My home. Quintteran. The great crystal canopies of Relin Ridge. The winds whispering across the biotemples. I could smell the air. It wasn't a memory. It was a test dressed in nostalgia. Two figures appeared before me. One was Ambassador Zelron, a Quintteran elder, my mentor once. The other was Marcus Quinn, our accidental human claimant, who, in his infuriating unpredictability, had become a friend. They were bound in shimmering stasis, frozen mid-motion, mid-sentence. Between them, a device pulsed. A bioweapon. One I recognized. The spiral virus. Engineered for rapid adaptive transmission. My work twisted. Capable of wiping out an entire species if misused. Here is your choice, the archive intoned. The virus will activate in 60 seconds. You may save only one of them. Choice A, save Ambassador Zelron. The Quintteran Collective will reclaim the spiral's favor, and humanity will be disqualified. Choice B, save Marcus Quinn. Humanity retains the spiral's guidance, but your people will see you as a traitor. Choice C, attempt to stop the device. The most noble path. But the odds of success are statistically insignificant. Choose. My heart's raced. I stepped forward. My tendrils twitched uncontrollably. Zelron had taught me everything I knew. He represented the best of our legacy. The idea of his death by my hand was unthinkable. Marcus had saved my life. Treated me as an equal. Risked everything to stop the corruption of my research. He represented what we could become. And yet, to try and save both? To defy the archive's logic? That was hubris. But also, that was human. I closed my eyes. And I remembered Marcus's words in the asteroid field. Sometimes the answer isn't to solve the system. It's to reject the premise. I opened my eyes. No, I said aloud. I reject your binary framework. Elaborate, the archive said, voice neutral. I'm not a pawn in a cosmic ethics exam. I'm a scientist. A problem solver. If there is a 0.01% chance to save both, then I will spend the rest of my existence chasing it. I will not abandon either of them, because that is not morality. That's math. And we are not equations. The archive pulsed, slower now. I stepped to the device and raised my scanner. Not to disarm it. To rewrite its input protocols. If I could reverse the activation cascade, reintroduce a dummy genome seed, maybe, a flash of light. Everything vanished. When I opened my eyes, I was back in the archive chamber. Both Zelron and Marcus were alive. Confused. Oh. I turned. The archive glowed brightly now. Warm. Resonant. Outcome, paradox embraced. Constraint transcended. Trial passed. Marcus stumbled to me. So what did you pick? I looked at him. I didn't. He grinned. Now you're finally thinking like a human. But we weren't done. Because even as the chamber settled, a shadow fell across the archive. A new voice entered. Not part of the council. Not part of the test. It came from beyond. You've impressed the architects, the voice said. Now let's see if you can survive us. From the far side of the archive's gate, a new vessel arrived. Black, silent, unregistered, and broadcasting no signal. Marcus's face turned grim. That is not part of the spiral. The archive dimmed. Not in defeat. Not in fear. In calculation. As the dark vessel slid into orbit around the station, smooth, silent, and wrong, I felt the pressure of a presence that did not belong. Not among the spiral races. Not even among known space. Kira's hand went to her pulse blade. That's not a hegemony ship. No markings. No emissions, Marcus muttered, eyes on the HUD. No signal, no registry, and it's absorbing scans. I stepped forward, heart rate spiking. That hull, it's anti-spectral. That ship's not built for war. It's built for removal. The archive's voice returned. For the first time, it sounded uncertain. Warning, external anomaly. Not spiral aligned. Not architect encoded. Not recognized. And then, something impossible happened. The final node, our activated spiral core, dimmed, flickered, and stopped. No, I whispered. The node's shutting down. Marcus stared at the ship. Who the hell are they? A new voice filled the chamber. Flat. Empty. Like someone remembering how to speak. We are the sanctioners. The spiral was not yours to awaken. Return to stasis. Or be erased. Kira stepped between us and the gate. Try it, she growled. From the dark ship, something launched, silent like death given direction. A spike of compressed gravity struck the archive's outer shell. Shields flared, ancient defenses activating. Alarm pulses blared in frequencies we couldn't hear but felt in our spines. The archive whispered. This entity is not from this cycle. This entity is from before. A hologram appeared, grainy, degraded, of a civilization long dead. Tall beings, clad in living code, standing at a spiral-shaped console. The spiral was designed to restart the galaxy's wisdom, the hologram intoned. But only after complete collapse. Marcus stared at it. Wait, are you saying this thing, this archive, wasn't meant for us? Not yet. I understood then. It's a failsafe, I said. The spiral is post-extinction tech. The architects built it to reboot galactic civilization after total collapse. We just got here too early. The archive confirmed. Incorrect timeline. Incorrect awakening. Contingency triggered. Sanctioners are en route to nullify deviation. The spiral had chosen us. But the system it lived within had not. And the sanctioners had come to fix that. We ran. Not away, up. To the command bridge of the archive, through glowing corridors now flickering under strain. The lucky star hovered in its dock, lit from below like a candle about to blow out. We need to sever the archive from its signal path, I said, breathless. If they're tracking the spiral's activation, we can mask it, hide it, if we cut the final link. Marcus stared at the glowing console. And if we don't? They erase everything. The archive. The next 10,000 years of potential. He looked at me. Then at Kira. Then pulled a knife and stabbed it straight into the interface. Sparks flew. The archive howled. And then, silence. We didn't know if we had stopped the signal. But the sanctioner vessel paused. Just for a moment. And that's when Kira launched every decoy beacon we had from the Lucky Star's emergency rack, broadcasting in ancient architect harmonics. A bluff. But a loud one. The sanctioner ship did not fire. It drifted. Scat. And then vanished into slip space, leaving behind only a fracture in the archive wall and the echo of something ancient. Something patient. We collapsed onto the deck. Breathing. Laughing. We bought time, Marcus said. That's all. I nodded. Time is all a species ever needs. The archive shimmered. Protocol adjusted. Spiral index continues. Warning, sanctioner presence logged. Future encounters, likely. Great, Kira muttered. Now we're on some ancient kill list. But still, we stood. Human, Quintteran, soldier, scientist, smuggler. Chosen not because we were destined, but because we showed up. Because we fought. Because we chose to be better than the story written for us. The spiral had broken. But we had bent with it. And somewhere deep in the core the archive whispered. New path detected. The archive ran silent for a full Terran hour. No challenges. No tests. No cryptic announcements from omniscient AI voices. Just silence. A silence full of implications. I stood at the edge of the fractured platform, gazing out at the void where the sanctioner vessel had vanished. The wound it tore through space hadn't healed. Not entirely. A gravitational shimmer still hung like a bruise in the cosmos. Kira sat cross-legged beside the emergency console, bandaging a burn on her arm. Marcus was hunched over a diagnostics tablet, chewing on a protein bar like it owed him money. No one spoke. Until the archive finally did. Core recalibration complete. Spiral directives rewritten. Architect command permissions unlocked. Accessing. Last known command trace. Origin. Architect seed node 1A. Playback beginning. The chamber dimmed. And then, light. A hologram unlike the others. Not flickering or damaged like the old archive projections. This was clear. Alive in a way light shouldn't be. The figure was humanoid, tall, graceful, cloaked in what looked like woven star thread. Their features were sharp, androgynous, and radiant. No eyes. Just a glowing lattice where their face should have been. They spoke softly as if addressing children. If you're seeing this, then the spiral has been activated early. We anticipated this. We warned against it. But perhaps, it's not wrong. The projection walked across the room, studying us though it couldn't see. The spiral was never meant to crown a species. Not like a prize. It was meant to test for traits. Resilience. Compassion. Imagination. The rare spark that kindles civilizations, before they collapse. We did not think the younger species would rise so quickly. We underestimated you. The figure turned, and though it had no face, we felt its focus. Humanity. Quintterans. The spiral has been watching your kind for a long time. You may not be the oldest. You may not be the wisest. But you are interesting. The projection shimmered. The Sanctioners are the last guardians of the old cycle. They see deviation as corruption. We see it as evolution. You have 3 choices now. 1. Shut down the spiral. Return to the shadows. Avoid detection. Live quietly. 2. Hide the archive. Protect it. Let it seed influence slowly, indirectly. 3. Open it to the galaxy. Invite chaos. Change everything. And paint a target on yourselves for every old power that fears what comes next. Marcus scratched his head. Great. Save the galaxy or save our necks. Kira stood. You know what I vote. They both looked at me. Of course they did. This wasn't just about humans anymore. This was about everyone who had ever been underestimated by empires, machines, or the weight of history. I raised my voice. We choose the 3rd option. The archive pulsed with sudden light. Spiral node unlocked. Broadcast initialized. Transmission universal. Marcus blinked. Wait, we're going live? Kira smirked. Better smile for the camera. The spiral's beacon flared, visible across systems, across languages, across spacetime. A signal went out. To slavers and rebels. Empires and exiles. Scientists and smugglers. The archive lives. And the future is open.